One of the largest armed services events of the year is coming up on Saturday, May 20th. FISH is hosting Armed Forces Day at Wyandotte County Fairgrounds. FISH stands for Friends in Service of Heroes, and there will be military equipment and honor guard and live music. The goal is to honor veterans and recruit new service members.
It's just awesome. It's awesome, and I hope it keeps growing even more to where we have to get someplace bigger. I mean, it'd just be a blast.
Being in the service made me who I am today, and I want to help people who need help. We're a band of brothers. That's kind of trite, but it's a true thing, and I want to help people that are in need, and that's what FISH does. We help veterans that are in need.
The event is free. It's Saturday, May 20th from 10 to 4.
A threatened species is putting a burden on Kansas farmers ahead for the political debate over the lesser prairie chicken.
Plus a proposal to pay air travelers for flight delays, what it could mean for you on your next trip.
And, you know, if you're going 35 northbound downtown to Liberty, you're going to want some extra time. It's a slowdown of 15 minutes. 29 northbound downtown to KCI in the green at 20 minutes. And 70 westbound downtown to Bonner Springs in the green at 14 minutes.
Today is an alert day. Stay connected with First Alert Weather. KMBC 9 News, leading the way.
All right, it's an alert day. It's warm and humid outside. A few of us are seeing some rain right now, but here's our setup if you're wondering what's going on and why it's an alert day. We have this strong storm system. It was more so centered over northeastern Colorado yesterday. It's drifted into Nebraska. They have a large tornado watch and a whole bunch of tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. And for our immediate area, we are currently mainly dry. However, we're going to be watching for thunderstorms to fire up in this area circled in eastern parts of Kansas, and then those will start to make their way into our neck of the woods. Again, our immediate area, we're mainly dry. One shower near Warsaw, that's making its way off towards the east. Evening plans, make sure you have a way to get alerts. Our KMBC 9 News app, that's a great tool to have. It's free. You can get alerts. You can get radar. I do think we'll have scattered thunderstorms. There is that severe risk. It's warm and humid otherwise, temperatures in the upper 70s. We'll take another look at radar. We'll get an update from Storm Tracker 9 and have your 9-day forecast. That will start in about 7 minutes.
Well, what happens when politicians get between a bird and its habitat? A couple of ruffled feathers. There's a battle brewing over this little guy, the lesser prairie chicken, and has been living in parts of Kansas and surrounding states for centuries. But there's just more than 30,000 left, with most of its natural habitat under private ownership. Lawmakers are concerned any further restrictions will put a heavier burden on farmers and business owners. This week, Cody Holyoke spoke with a member of the Audubon Society to get their take.
I think change is hard in any case, and we're talking, you know, if a county is restricted from having oil and energy development, that does limit some of the economic opportunities. But I think if we take a long-term view, if we can get the populations back up, that those energy development could happen again.
She says the Audubon of Kansas is doing its part by acting as a voice for the prairie chicken. You can check out Cody's full interview this weekend on Heart of the Matter Sunday at 11 a.m.
Ahead for the new FDA rule that could help increase the nation's blood supply.
And how the Dream Factory connected one local boy with some of his favorite Royals players.
It's a First Alert weather day, and meteorologist Neville Miller is tracking the chance of strong to severe storms tonight. He'll have an update on the timeline in less than 3 minutes.
Well, could you be paid if your flight is delayed? That is the idea being pitched by the Biden administration.
And Mike Valerio joins us live to explain what this all means, Mike.
And Lauren Bria, good to be with you for some good news for a change. If there is a meltdown of the airlines making, this is what we are talking about here. Think the Southwest debacle last December that left thousands of people stranded. The Biden administration is now saying that passengers, you and I, should be compensated. But what that compensation or payment for delays looks like right now is still up in the air.
What do passengers deserve if delays turn disastrous? Passengers like Pam Shelby left heartbroken after the 2022 holiday travel meltdown.
Because I wanted to visit my family, but there's nothing I can do about it.
New this week, President Joe Biden proposing a federal rule change that would compensate passengers for delays and cancellations caused by the airlines. It could take effect by the end of this year. But already in the European Union, passengers can receive up to $663 for significant delays.
One study found that the European Union required airlines to compensate passengers for flight delays. The number of flight delays went down.
Right now, 10 U.S.-based carriers cover the cost of meals for passengers and 9 cover the cost of hotels if delays or cancellations are caused by the airlines. But they do so voluntarily and can stop at any time. Brian Summers, founder and editor of the Airline Observer, says Biden's proposal could be stronger.
He didn't necessarily say you'd get a cash payment as you do in the European Union. You could get a travel credit or even frequent flyer miles.
Mary Schiavo, a former U.S. Department of Transportation Inspector General, says this signals a reversal of airline deregulation, which ushered in an era of misery.
Remember, the taxpayers of the United States own the airways. We own the runways. We own the airports. The airlines do not own those. We need to re-regulate in a grand scale with a coherent and intelligent United States transportation policy.
So, Laura and Bria, if I were flying from here in Los Angeles to Denver to Kansas City, and there were not enough people from the airline at Denver and my flight is delayed, that is the kind of situation where compensation would be appropriate according to this new rule. We're going to have to see if it's a payment or if it's a hotel voucher. We'll learn in the next couple months. The airlines, though, Laura and Bria, are fighting against this, saying that they do everything in their control to ensure that flights depart and arrive on time. That's the latest reporting live here in Los Angeles. I'm Mike Valerio, KMBC 9 News.
All right, Mike, thank you. More than 3,700 flights were delayed today, according to FlightAware, and more than 120 were canceled.
Exclusive live radar and 9-day forecast, so you'll know first. This is First Alert Weather.
Neville, we've been watching you walking back and forth from the Weather Center.
He wears a pack.
He's just back and forth, back and forth.
He's getting those steps in, that's for sure.
Yeah, you are.
Especially any days like this when we're talking about the potential of severe weather. You know, we kind of have a lot going on around us. It might seem like things are pretty quiet. There's not much happening on radar locally, but we have a severe thunderstorm warning, the area in blue over Oklahoma. We have a tornado watch for much of eastern Nebraska. They have a number of tornado warnings going on in Nebraska as well. And then the area that we're keeping an eye on for you, this kind of funny looking line there that's moving through now eastern Kansas. That's a dry line, some drier air Nick Bender was talking about, and we're going to go to him in just a moment. But this will be the area to watch for thunderstorms to fire up over the next several hours, eastern Kansas. And we can see some of that now on live radar. So again, most of us are currently dry, but a little bit closer to Holton, Kansas, now just off to the west of Topeka.